Hello and welcome back to the Hometown Business Podcast. I'm Autumn Dell. I am your host. I am here with Miss Michele Yarbrough. She is the owner of the Armory Bookstore. If you are local to Monroe, you have probably seen the store pop up in the past. How long has it been?
April 1st.
April 1st, so about 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And she is doing great. And I've known Michele for a while. I don't know if you remember, my daughter was at Bright Beginnings, and you did a women's event or something, and for the moms, maybe.
That's right. Oh,
yes, that's where I first met you.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Or saw you, I guess. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And we've kind of just been friends on social ever since.
Yeah.
So I followed along. She, in her notes, she mentioned that it's never too late to follow your dreams, but when I think of you as a dream follower, because I've watched you with different businesses, and I'm that lady is not afraid to go after what she thinks up.
That's awesome.
Or dreams up. So I am so excited to have you on the podcast, and I'm making sure real quick, unprofessionally, that we are recording voice, and we are, so the mic is ready and we are ready. So I'm just going to hop in and start asking you some questions about Armory Bookstore, because I know that's your newest baby. So you opened the store in April, right?
Yep.
Okay. And how did you dream that up? How did that come?
So this story goes back 30 years. It actually may go back practically my whole life, because I've always loved retail anyway, and my degree is actually from Eastern Kentucky University, a Bachelor of Science in fashion merchandising. So retail has just always been in me. And when I moved to Atlanta, I'm originally from Kentucky, which is a whole nother podcast. But when I moved to Atlanta, and I was working in retail, and ended up working at the Christian Armory Bookstore in Tucker. And that is where then I ended up going to Rehoboth Baptist and meeting my husband and everything. So the Christian Armory was just a really special place. I loved working there. I loved the owners. I loved everything about it. And then Dave and I got married and got pregnant with my first child, and it was always my dream to be a stay-at-home mom. So we had moved to Loganville, and it was just time for me to have my first child. So I started staying home, and then about a year after that first child was born, I became a staff member at First Baptist Loganville, where I, for 21 years, served preschoolers and their families. And you mentioned the moms groups, and so everything I've done really my whole life has brought me to this point.
Yeah.
So in 2019, all the Lifeway bookstores closed all across the country.
Wow.
Every single one. And I remember thinking, wow, maybe the independent bookstore will be on the rise again, because basically most of those stores, they could not survive the Lifeway era, because they couldn't compete with them.
Right.
So right in the middle of a pandemic, in November of 2020, I was talking to a friend just about the bookstore, and I've always loved Christian bookstores, obviously. I worked at one. And she said, "Oh, Michele, you should totally do that. You should just open one." And I went,
it's so easy.
No. I am almost an empty nester. My daughter's almost 18. I'm 54 years old. When I left ministry in 2017, I've just been kind of being a helper to people. I loved, I started working at Epiphany in Athens, and then we got a store in Monroe, and I was even helped a friend some with her boutique in Clayton. And I just kind of like doing that, just helping people, and not having any of my own businesses except for You Were Made to Bloom, and I'll share that in a minute. But so that's where the dream started. And you probably know, about a year after leaving ministry, I created You Were Made to Bloom, which is bloom boxes. And that was going well, and I was shipping bloom boxes literally all over the country, and something that I just love. It's a love language of mine, is gift giving. So everything just started coming together with this dream of a bookstore. I could bring the boxes in there. I could serve children. I could serve parents. I could be in retail. And the only way that I can describe it is it was a God-given dream that people really want this type of store again. There's nowhere to go within an hour of us unless, yes, you could go to a Borders, but there's just not the help there that you get from a locally owned store. And people want a place to really look at books and browse, and the Bibles especially was my number one thing. I just wanted a place where people could actually look at a Bible and touch it and feel it, and we joke with my friends because the biggest thing now is people need, especially my age group, they need large print Bibles. So it's kind of funny because you can't really tell, when you look at one online, what that's going to look like.
Right.
So I just, it wouldn't stop. Like the Lord just would not stop this dream. And I just created a poster board in my office and I started writing all this stuff down. And the first thing I did was I met with someone from the city and I just said, this is what I'm thinking. If ever there was a city that would support this type of business, it would be Monroe, because we used to have the Christian Art and Bookshop right there where Scoops is.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes, there used to be Christian Art and Bookshop, and I love there. I love going in there and shopping. And I think it was 2014 that they closed. So she took me down to this little space in the Eulalia building that is literally a hallway. It's 800 square feet. And I just fell in love. And that space actually made it possible because of the smaller space. And it's not really conducive. Like most businesses wouldn't be able to use it because there's just a small little storage unit under the stairs. There's no shipping and receiving area. There's no office. But it was perfect for what we wanted to do. Yeah. And so it just, once we discovered that space, it was like, this is going to happen. Yeah. I'm just going to make it happen. And I just took one step at a time. And with my experience in retail and my experience at the Christian Armory, of course, tons and tons of change back then. I laugh because I was assistant manager over customer service. So back then, you had to come to me to order something. There's really no Amazon. There was no, I mean, we placed all the special orders. I laugh really hard because we had cassette tapes, and so so anyway, that was quite some time ago, but it all came together, and the outpouring has just been, it's really been fantastic. People want this, like I said, this type of store, and it's just been wonderful. And I was going to start as pop-ups. I was just going to see, what the community wanted, and there really was no such thing. We opened in the first 2 weeks. I emailed the owner and I said, we got to get open. Yeah. So we're open Thursday through Friday, and Thursday through Saturday, but then next week, I'm not sure when this podcast will air, but we're going to start opening the first Wednesday in August, Wednesday through Saturday.
That's awesome.
And then as the holidays approach, we'll be open Tuesday through Saturday. Right. So that's awesome. It's my goal to be closed mainly Monday and Tuesdays, but people can watch Instagram and Facebook and just see and website and all those good things to see what we've got going on. So
that's awesome. It is so cool when like your natural abilities merge to what you're called to do business wise. Like I feel like my gifting is hospitality, and it's funny when my husband and I dream of like the businesses that we want. He's like, Autumn, everything you want to do has to do with like taking care of people in their spaces. Like, I mean, dreaming. I'm like, I would love to own a hotel. I would love, like, we're here at co-work at the Metro, and I love it because I'm like, so many cool hospitality touches, and you with the gift of gift giving, or like your love language. That's how you described it.
Yes,
like, that is so neat.
Because people are really looking for, because we carry books, Bibles, and gifts. Just business-wise, everyone knows there's no margin in books and Bibles, and so you've got to carry other things. So and people are looking for those type of gifts. So that's been, the problem's narrowing down what you're going to carry in such a small.
I saw you at the Atlanta Mart on Instagram, and I'm like, I want to go there.
It's like
maybe I'll use my tax ID, and never mind that I'm a house cleaning business, but
but you may move into other areas.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I love just getting the customers' requests and opinions and on what they would like to see, and but yeah, it's a struggle in that little space to figure out, but we utilize it the best that we possibly can, and we carry local people. Like I carry Love Letters Designs. That was one of my goals. I wanted to carry local people, and she was one of the first ones that I contacted. And people love that. They love the handmade, hand painted. And I also carry, even if it's not local, it's women in business.
Right.
Or families in business or men in business. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but that was one of my big goals. And with Revolutionaries Market closing down, that was part of my dream, was to carry local people.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, not only do people want to support the local bookstore over ordering on Amazon or Target, but like when there's things that they can only get there, that's really where you get your edge. And
and I will go there about the whole Amazon thing, because people are going to buy there, and that is absolutely fine. Because when I first started the dream, a lot of people were like, but everybody, I'm like, no, everybody doesn't. I have had people come in the store that have said, I bought something from Amazon and I'm going to return it so I can support you.
Yeah.
So there is no way that independent people can compete with those prices. But in my research that I was doing before I started, the difference is the personal service, because the quote I read was that Amazon is a seller of books, not a bookseller.
Right.
So when somebody comes in with a very serious issue, they may not know what they're looking for. So they appreciate that personal connection and someone that can lead them to the type of book that they may need.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it's not that big of a price difference. Sometimes there's no price difference, I've noticed.
Sometimes there's not, and not everybody has Prime. So you have to pay shipping. So
I mean, like, the only time I go to Amazon is if there's nowhere to find it locally.
Right.
And so the more bookstores we have, like we haven't had a Christian bookstore. I didn't even realize Lifeway closed, but the only one I knew of was out by the Mall of Georgia, and I'm not driving out there. So,
right. And there's also Amazon Handmade, so you can still support.
Right.
You can still support local people on there as well. I mean, it's just it's really been amazing to see the support and people coming in, and just they just want it. They want that local connection.
Yeah, and God knew that would happen, so therefore He led you there. That's awesome.
And the stories alone, I call them Bible stories, and I'll post those on Instagram. And we've sent Bibles to a prison through the mother, and she came in just literally in tears. And then we had a military mom come in and said her son could take 2 books, and she wanted a new Bible for him to take.
That's awesome.
So there's lots and lots of fun stuff and ways that we can give back coming up that I'm working on right now, and specifically to get Bibles in people's hands.
That's awesome. And keeping our money in our community.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes, and we do Bible imprinting. That's huge, because that is huge, and that was my number one goal. And again, the Lord just always provides everything we need. And I made a connection with a bookstore in Alabama, and they had a Bible imprinter.
Aww, that's so fun.
And I just had to buy the letters, and so that's exciting. And I have someone that literally has the Bible imprint machine in their home, and because of our space. But you know what? The Bible says you don't despise small beginnings.
Right.
And this is a perfect place to start.
I love all the not scrappy seems like a weird word, but we get scrappy with
get it.
what we can do on small spaces. I remember when I first started my cleaning business, I wanted to look really professional, and scrubs for some reason was what I had, but I was like, I will not spend personal money to make or not much at least, to make this happen. And so I went to the thrift store and I found like some cute scrubs, and I was like, you know what? I will say that I was scrappy to begin with, that I wanted this business funding itself. You
have to, because if we listed out everything that we have to pay as business owners, people have no idea.
Right.
Everybody wants monthly for everything. So everything, when people come in the space, they were like, oh, where'd you get this? I said, Facebook Marketplace. Everything in that store came from Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And it just, you have to, because it's so expensive. I mean, the fees and the Square system and the monthly for this and monthly for that, and $20 just to do a schedule for your staff or whatever. I mean, there's always something. So whenever I'm looking at things that I need, I'm like, what do I have that I could use so I don't have to purchase this?
Right. Yeah.
It just, down to like the vacuum cleaner, which you'll understand that. It's like, where can I get a vacuum cleaner? Like, I even posted on Facebook, anybody got to have a Keurig?
Yeah.
And people are more than happy to give you that Keurig that's sitting in there that they're not using, just to support a small business.
Right.
And I think it's great, because my husband saw a quote one time that said, what if for small businesses we had small business showers like we did for baby showers?
I saw, or you may have shared that. I've seen that. I was like, that's so good.
So when I get that bigger space, that may be coming.
Yes. Oh, that's so fun. I love those fun ideas.
I just think it's fun.
Well, kudos to you for following your dream, because this is so cool. Like, it's just such a neat story. And what a great town to be in. Like, it almost seems like if Monroe they welcome things like this, and the community is ready to spend their money there, and because they value it. And
I do feel like it fit the perfect niche.
Yes.
I mean, it fit perfectly with our, we have, here's the crazy thing. I serve newborn to senior citizens. I mean, it's a very interesting thing in one respect, because Christian bookstores serve every age.
Right.
So that in itself is challenging. But I was, this is so fun. I was on a FaceTime shopping call with someone in Illinois the other day, Illinois, and she literally bought from her 1-year-old to her mother-in-law.
That's awesome.
And it in that little space, we found something for everybody.
That's awesome.
So if you're out there and you need a FaceTime call, I'll do that as well.
That's awesome. Getting creative with your shopping to reach more people.
Yes, to reach more people, and just, of course, for income that days I'm not open.
Right.
We can purchase through Instagram and Facebook. And it's a different concept, but there is a website shopping that is coming.
Okay.
That should be ready in a few weeks. It's a different concept through a company that actually serves retailers, Christian retailers.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have to reach out to me when that goes live, and I can share it on the Instagram page.
Yeah, that'll be great. We can add it to the show notes and all those kind of things.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, this was a really fun conversation. I have to get down to my lightning round questions.
Yes, I can talk forever about this.
No, I love it. I'm the same way. Like, ask me about my business, and I'll bore you to tears with all of my exciting details that are exciting to me.
Well, it proves that we're in the right thing.
Yes,
we're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. So, because you are a Christian bookstore owner, I have to know, who is your favorite author?
Lysa TerKeurst, by far.
Oh, she's good. I've got a few of her books.
Her especially Uninvited, changed my life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, especially.
Well, that's good. We'll include that. I think that's the one I have. I need to go back and reread a lot of my books now, because it's been enough time that would feel totally new to me.
Yes, exactly.
What about your favorite restaurant to go to for date night?
So this is funny, because my husband and I go through this all the time, and where you want to go, and honestly, we end up in Downtown Monroe at Silver Queen, or at South on Broad.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, even I work down here, but I just want to come right back down here.
Right.
I love it that much.
Yeah.
Either that or Local Republic in Lawrenceville.
Yes. Yeah. We, I have a 24-year-old daughter. She's adopted. Everyone's always like, you look a bit young to have a 24-year-old. She's adopted. It's a whole story. But she turns 24 this week, and so we're trying to think of somewhere to go out to dinner. And she'll be like, Chili's? I'm like, no, there are so many good restaurants. I said, you let me pick. We'll find somewhere.
Well, and of course, I'm going to support local. I mean, I'm just going to do that. And I enjoy
it way more.
Yeah. And that patio at Silver Queen, my goodness.
I know. And those lavender margaritas, she likes those. So.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We just.
Last time she was driving home right after, so we wouldn't let her get one. Like I can still control her, but she thinks I can a little bit. So anyways, but I was like, we'll drive. You can have yourself a lavender margarita. For your
That's
birthday.
awesome. That's awesome. We love it. We love being in Monroe. I mean, I live close now. Of course, we've lived in Monroe for almost 23 years now, and just watched it absolutely boom.
Yeah,
absolutely boom.
It's been so fun watching because like you mentioned that Christian Bookstore, I had totally forgotten about it. I mean, Monroe, when I first started coming out here, was Mike Cash's store right there.
Yes.
That was really
You really didn't go anywhere. You might come down to Butcher Block, or when Leanne had her boutique, I would go in there to get a gift or something.
But it was like you were parking to go in one store. Now you park and you can spend the whole day here.
It is a destination spot for sure.
Yeah, it's super neat. I'm super grateful to just happen to be in such a cool community.
I know. I am too, more and more every day.
It's been awesome. Okay, lastly, where can people find you online?
Okay, so it's the armorybookstore.com, and then of course Facebook and Instagram, and you can just DM us if you see something that you want, and we send an invoice for now. The website has my t-shirts, and it's so hard maintaining e-commerce when we only order a few, and then if it's on the website and then it's sold out before we can, it's just very, very time consuming. But shopping through DM has been super popular, and then we just shoot an invoice and we can hold it if you're local, or we can ship it.
That's awesome. Well, I'll include all that in the show notes.
Awesome.
And if you're listening, I hope that you will go and show Michele and Armory Bookstore some love on social, and think of them next time you have a gift for a loved one and you're kind of like, what do I get? Go to Michele. She'll hook you up. Well, thank you guys for watching and for listening, and make sure to like, rate, review, share, all the things.
Great.
So until next time, see ya. Bye.
Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Get It Together Cleaning Services. We give you back your free time by taking cleaning off your to-do list. You can find us online at www.gitcleaning.com or message us on Facebook. Our handle there is @GITcleaning. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this interview and want to see more, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We have more great interviews lined up in the coming weeks.